Good afternoon. So my name is Corey Limer, and this is my friend David Nubwaku. And we met each other a couple years ago. He was a graduate student at La Roche University, taking MIS, right? And so I was a guest lecturer there, and I met him, and he was. Is it better? Thank you. Appreciate it. He was one of the better students in the class, and he's since graduated summa cum laude. So he's now we're working together to help give presentations like this. And if you enjoy it, then we'll be happy to come back. And so a little bit about my background, and I have been in the technology industry since the turn of the century. So, right. So 1999, when there was a year 2000 and we were fixing all these bugs to make sure the computer didn't crash. And I got my master's in computer information systems, and I have a business undergraduate, and I've been working in technology and business ever since. And so I'm going to let David introduce himself.
Good day, everyone. Just like Corey said, my name is David. I'm originally from Nigeria. I moved to the United States August of 2022. I moved to the United States August of 2022 for my graduate program in information systems. Graduated last year, May, in information systems. I kind of deal with web technologies and cloud-related technologies, and of course, things around cybersecurity. Corey and I have been kind of holding meetings like this, kind of teaching people how to stay safe online, as it were. So I'm glad to be here this afternoon to share this time with you. Thank you.
Thanks. So David and I are going to split up the presentation, and we'll go ahead and get started. So being online has a lot of benefits, right? So you get to connect with your family, especially the younger generation who grew up with a phone in their hands, right? So being able to watch videos and send messages, etc. Sometimes that it's a technology that we didn't grow up with, right? So we're used to having a phone on the wall and picking it up when the phone rang. So, but it's never too late to learn something new about technology, whether you're just getting started or been online for a while. So today's goal is just to give a couple quick tips on how to stay safe online. And hopefully this is an interactive session. So if you have any questions or want to chat about some stuff, we'll be happy to talk further. So we did the introductions, Corey and David, and then going to talk about some common online scams. There's some common ones that pop up and come in different flavors, but there's also new ones coming up that you'll see in your inbox, or you'll get a phone call all the time. So cybersecurity, what is it, and what can we do to help keep us safe? I think there's some technical aspects of cybersecurity, but there's some common sense approaches that I hope that we can employ today, or we can take and employ after today or later today to be able to keep us safe. And really, that's just stop, think, act. We'll get a little deeper into that as we get there. And then some common online threats like phishing scams and password attacks. And then I have some real life examples that I can share with you as well. So this is just the verbiage or the wording of what we talked about just a couple minutes ago. And so these are some common online scams. So I don't know if you've heard any of these, but the grandparent scam, the romance scam, the accidental deposit scam, tech support scam. There might be a virus on your computer. Maybe there's not. Maybe we want to put a virus on your computer. and then UPS or delivery text scams. There's many more, and I'm sure that we can all have a discussion of all the things we've seen, but these are some of them. So the grandparent scam, this is one that's been targeted at some close friends, and actually got the person to be able to rush out to Best Buy to buy some gift cards to try to help a grandparent in need. And this is related to a scam that targets older adults by impersonating a grandchild or relative in distress. Oftentimes these come as a text message or an email, so you can't hear the voice or the distress in their through a phone call. The scammer often claims to be in legal trouble or an emergency and asks for money urgently, usually through untraceable methods like gift cards or wire transfers. So, when trying to get someone out of trouble, one of the main tips is just contact another family member or trying to call that person themselves through the method you know. So there's usually have the phone numbers in your phone, or your kids can contact the grandkids or the other kids or any other relative. They make sure that this information is legitimate, right? So often, and we'll go through this, is the message invokes a sense of urgency, but that urgency is to make us not think and react. But we are smarter than that, right? We have lifetime worth of experience that we use our good instincts to be able to slow down and think through and the kind of tried and true, is this too good to be true, or does this make sense, right? Romance scam. My mother-in-law was targeted by one of these from a person reaching out. She lost her husband a few years ago, but someone researched her a little bit, realized that she was not married, and reached out to her and started trying to make a connection, and that turned out to be an attempt for a romance scam. And that's just creating, what they do is they create fake profiles, build emotional connections, usually through online, never really in person, and then ask for financial help, or then an emergency comes up, or a situation where they need some kind of help. Accidental deposit scams, a lot of times that this will be mistakenly want to send you money via payments like apps, Venmo, Zelle, PayPal. Those are very easily, you can transfer money very easily through there, and it's very convenient to pay help, legitimate help through that. But also scammers use that as a method to try to get payment with a scam. And oftentimes they try to indicate that there was a stolen or a fake account. And then when they want to make sure that so you don't lose real money, to give your account number, and then they'll deposit it back. Or, anything to get your financial information. Then tech support scams, you'll get a call or alert or an email saying that you have a virus. And so click here to be able to protect your computer, or run this program. All that action is an action to get you hooked to whatever that is, whether it be a malware, a virus, or your financial information. And then UPS or delivery text scams. So we order things on Amazon or delivery and so it's a very common practice. So you order something and you'll get a text saying that your package may be lost, or that, especially around the holidays when you're ordering so many Christmas presents. But that is just a way to be able to get your information. So really always make sure that you're communicating through the normal channels, through like the the numbers that you know, whether it be the legitimate app or the website that you type in yourself versus clicking a link that looks a little bit suspicious and induces urgency. So there's going to cybersecurity and really what to do, some steps to help protect. And really, cybersecurity sounds like a technical word, but it just really means protecting yourself and your information, your devices, and the information that's on your devices. Think about the protection, awareness, and knowledge is really a three kind of components to that link to protect yourself. And then it's really like a house where you lock your doors, but in this case, you're just making sure that you're securing your phone and your computer to keep the cyber criminals out. So the internet is very handy, but it also can, these scammers really do, why we see so many is it really does work. They are able to get money from people like us quite often. And really, this is from 2023, from the Elder Fraud Report. And so there's not a more recent one. I tried to find if it's been updated since then, but in 2023, people over 60 lost $3.4 billion just in 2023. So just because they're over 60 doesn't mean you lose money, because 50 to 59 lost $1.68 billion. So that's a lot of money. So that's why you see all these scams, right? That's a lot. People are getting money from it. So what do we do to protect ourselves? And that's what we talked about in the beginning. David, are you up? Is this?
I can. You can go there.
Okay. We're splitting. I want to make sure that I don't go over slides. So really, what are we doing to protect ourselves, right? So stop, think, and act. You can get a lot of fancy software and a lot of confusing stuff to be able to protect your phone. But if you just slow down, a lot of times you can think and make good decisions. So really, the most legitimate requests are not urgent. A bank, if something happened in your bank, they're not gonna email you an email saying you must do something now. They may send you a message, but it's not necessarily urgent. Nothing. Most legitimate issues that need to be taken care of don't need to happen within, urgency time frame, whether that be 90 minutes, whether it be within the end of the day, within 2 days. So just to stop and think, this is a wise old person or wise young person thinking, and this is the person taking action after they made some good decisions. And then this is immediate action versus pausing for safety, just thinking through what we need to do when receiving unexpected message or request online. So oftentimes, if I get a message saying that my order is not arriving, I know that I did order something. But if I didn't order something, I get a message, then it doesn't make it doesn't, 2 and 2 don't make 4. Like, it doesn't make sense that, so I want to make sure that I'm expecting a message. And then take a breath before clicking links. Oftentimes you'll see a link. Computer programmers can disguise malicious links in a nice text link. It says this is a friendly link, but behind it might be bad code that will take you to a different location and try to take your information, take your money, something like that. So make sure that if you're ever in doubt, go to the browser or go to the screen and go to that location, go to the shopping site, go to your bank through the means you know. versus clicking on the link in the email. Type in the address or go to the app you have installed on your phone to be able to get there. And again, I want to stress that most scam type situations have this act now or some kind of urgency to make us not think logically. All right, David, you want to help me out and finish up?
Okay.
Any questions so far while we take a break?
Is there any way to block those from coming?
David, you want to take it? I'm sorry. Is there any way to block these messages from coming? You want to take it? It's right here, the clicker.
I think one simple way would be to, when you have spotted a scam, let's say test, say just like Corey explained, saying your package could not be delivered because your address was incomplete or something. There is no way to block it, but what you can do is to mark it as spam or to mark it as to report it. Phones have those options where they just ask you, do you know this number? You can just mark it as a malicious sender or something. And somehow they have a way of preventing such from coming to you. But if you leave it unattended, somehow you will keep getting some of those things. I don't know if I answered that question.
David, there is one thing that you can mention is normal emails have spam filters, right? So they catch about 60 to 80%. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just kind of looking at it as a that just came to a phone. But for an email, yes, there are some of these inbuilt technologies that when they kind of scan through messages and they can classify the ones that are spam, they move it to your spam folder. Sometimes when I open my spam folders, I see a lot of emails. Oh, you just won $250,000. Click on this link to begin your process and all of that. So yeah, emails like Gmail, Outlook, and all the other ones have technologies to, at least at a very surface level, classify them as spam. But I'm talking about when you get a test on your phone, say UPS, sometimes they go as far as using UPS logos or any of the delivery services that is associated with that number. Yes, because every day there are people who are working really hard to collect information. Okay.
And if they block numbers of it.
Absolutely. Yes. There's just an option. When we move to interactive sections, we can do some of these practicals. You can just bring your phones and say, oh, where can I do some of these things? All right, let me just continue from where Corey stopped. Was this message expected? Does this request make sense? Why would it? So as an international student here in the US, one day I got a call from India. And the person said that they are recruiters, that they are recruiting for job. The thing is, because I've submitted my resume on some job platforms. So some of these scammers also go to those job sites, and some of those platforms, they ask you, do you want your resume to be visible to recruiters? If you say yes, it means anybody can pose as a recruiter. They can see where you live, where you've worked, your email address and your phone number. So they called me and they said that we were having this conversation and it was going pretty well until they said, can we have your social security? My bank have not even asked me for my social security on phone and all of that. So I was just able to spot that and know that they were just people trying to collect my information. So you ask yourself, am I expecting this? Does this request even make sense? And of course, I told them no, that I cannot do that. Trust your instincts. Very important. Trust your instincts. You get a text and your mind tells you this looks like a scam test, you can confirm with someone you trust. Say, oh, please, I got this message. Can you just look at it? Because if you just move past that and click on the link, somehow, somewhere at the back end, just like Corey said, is gathering some of those information. And these things can be very complex, but they can come to us in very simple ways, like just a simple link. Trust your instincts. Take time to verify genuine emergencies. And Corey has said most of these things. I would just pick, if someone claims to be a relative or a grandchild in trouble, hang up and call them. I was visiting a neighbor at the hospital and my wife and I were just there talking with her, and then she got this call and the person claimed to be her granddaughter. In fact, called her granddaughter's name. But she said, no, this is not my granddaughter's voice. She just cut the call and called her granddaughter and said, did you call me? She said, no, I didn't call you. She said, oh, okay. I just got a call from someone claiming to be you. So sometimes if you're not sure, the voice doesn't sound familiar, don't say, oh, maybe this is network. No, cut the call. Cut it and find the person's phone number and call them. It's good to always confirm. And of course, we talked about reporting suspicious activity to authorities. Yes. Empower. By following these steps, we can all feel more confident when navigating online or using our devices. Some common online threats. I'm kind of rushing so that we can get to the practical and do some hands-on. Understanding specific threats help in recognizing and avoiding them. There's something we call phishing scams. They can just look very legitimate. I'm going to invite Corey back to look at another email that she got. It was a personal experience and he can go through that with us. Like I said, they can include correct logo. You can just get an email with PNC Bank logo. I mean, to fetch a PNC Bank logo is just one of the easiest things to do online. You just type PNC logo, the logo comes out, you copy it and paste it on a Word document and it looks genuine. All right. The formatting, they can just check what formatting is PNC looking. Using this day, formatting means what is the font style that they use for their letterheads and all of that. People do serious work and they can look genuine. Password security is crucial. Some of us here, I don't know how we do with password security. My conversing with people, I've noticed that people use the same password for almost everything that they do online. So your PNC bank account is the same password with where your health information is the same password with your Papa John's pizza account. It's the same password. What it actually means is that someone, if they have access to a weak infrastructure, let's say, for instance, I have a web application, I'm a business person, I sell pizza. You signed up on my platform to be buying pizza, but I am not doing due diligence to keep you safe, to keep your information safe. If someone gets your information from my pizza platform and sees that your name is Jane Adam, and this is your email and this is your password, they may not get so much money from you by just looking at what you have going on that pizza platform. They want to check, does this Jane Adam have account with Bank of America? If yes, is this person using the same credentials for their bank? Right? So it's actually, it's healthy to use different password. And I know somebody will be like, how am I going to remember all the passwords for all of the things? So we'll talk about that later. And some people use their password, their birthdays as their password. Because you don't want to forget it, just say, August 3rd, something. Let me just explain to you. Your granddaughter or your daughter can just wish you happy birthday. You know, my generation will just put it on social media. Happy birthday, mom. Someone who is stalking and following them knows that, oh, their mom's birthday is March 18th. And your mom's name is this. They are just using some of this information to kind of hit some databases to see if you use your birthday as your password. So some use, some use password 123 as their password. And it's also not safe to do that.
Say that.
I said some people use this password 123. That's the most common password. In fact, there's a statistics that said about 50% of Americans use this. Because password is just something you don't want to forget. And I can understand that it is hard. So people just look for, what is it that I cannot forget? And they use it. So this is not safe. Your birthday is not safe. It's actually a password security thing. So if you're here and your password to your bank or something is just, or maybe your birthday, you need to change it after this meeting. Protect against phishing. We've talked about most of this. I'm going to skip it. And yes, this rule is very important. It's a crucial rule for online safety. Never to click email links, even if they appear to come from trusted sources. Real life example, and I probably will end with that. My wife is a registered nurse. She works for a particular facility. Her paycheck is broken into 2 different accounts. A percentage goes to one and another percent goes to another one. One day she saw a mail trail that was happening, just a very long mail trail. Because they have now copied her. What actually happened was that someone posed to be her, writing to her employers to change the percentage that goes to a particular account and all of that. Very serious thing. She kind of flagged it, called them. They said, oh, we thought we've been communicating with you all this while. And we were able to kind of prevent that. Why we got that alert was that she has a 2-factor authentication also set. It was the final stage of what they were doing. So she needed to confirm it with the code sent to her. So when she saw the code coming, she said, I never authorized anything to be done to this. So she reached out to those people and they were able to flag that. So sometimes you just want to stop and call somebody and say, I'm getting these text messages, am I safe? All right, create strong passwords. We've talked about it. And yes, these things like this are just very important. When you are creating a password, try to use special characters, even if it is your name. For instance, if I want to use David as my password, I can use 6 as D. I can look for something that is similar to an A. I can use maybe @ as a special character. V, instead of just putting V, I could just find something that is closer to V, maybe a special character. I could just use 1. And D, I can just repeat 6 and then put some special character. So every time I want to log in, I know is my name, David, but there are special characters that I just use. So this practice is actually safe to create passwords that you can remember and use different passwords for different accounts. All right, Corey, you want to come up for this real life example?
Sure.
And after that, we can just move for the client A.
So I just wanted to go back to this right here. Whoops. This one right here. That's hard. What David said, I was like, I don't know if I could remember that. But I'm a fan of Jeopardy. The Jeopardy show airs at 7 p.m. exclamation mark, because I want to make sure I catch it. So then I changed that to T for the, J for Jeopardy, S for show, airs is the @ 7 is the 7 p.m. and then exclamation mark. So that helps me remember this convoluted, complex phrase. That's not really my password because I wouldn't be showing it up here, but it's a trick that can be used to be able to remember something complex. So I got this email February 28th, not too long ago. So, and this is, so I've worked in the healthcare industry for a long time. And so I've worked on this system, actually work on this system. And and so this is something that I know pretty well. And so then I get this paid consultation for $7 an hour, urgent. And this is like my 7th one of these. And I've heard some of them can be legitimate. People need help. And so then I see this and then, okay, I know this. Oh, yeah, now, and then this is a lot of money. That sounds a little bit too good to be true. And then there's a calendar and there's a link, but this person is from the GL group and seems a little bit generic, right? But then what I did is, have you ever heard of like ChatGPT? So I just copied and pasted and put in ChatGPT and I said, does this sound like a scam? And so this is what it said. Oops. And so it is pretty high. And then this is not, it's missing, it's the disconnect. That person is not from Upwork. They are from this GLP group, and they were advertising Upwork, which is a place where you can get consulting arrangements. And then it has a generic email, and then there's urgency. So then it said, protect yourself, stay away. Then don't click on any links in this email. So that was an example. I tried to bring another one for it was a lost property claim, and it was for $212, and I needed to claim that money. It said, reach out to them. It was a letter, like in the mailbox, and it came, and that too was a scam. So they're all over the place. And so just from what we learned, I know we have questions, but like to recap, is that you'll get these. I'm sure you've seen them, and you'll sure to get more. We get them because they can extract money from all of us. Doesn't mean no matter how old we are or how young, all of us are affected by getting these. So it's part of life, and so we just need to use our kind of methodology to kind of stop and think and act before we act urgently. In the back of the table, I brought some just information from the internet, the elderly fraud report. You can be happy to look at it. I can also share the link with Brian and Aaron if you guys want to look at it and read on it. It's pretty interesting. Lists multiple different ways people try to reach out to you, some actions to protect yourself, and then if you get impacted by one of these scams, report it, because then they can stop it from happening. They can try to stop it from happening from other people.
If there's any questions, just raise your hand. I'll bring microphones so everybody here.
Yeah, someone in the back.
Okay, thank you very much for being here, you and David.
Yeah.
I have a couple questions. First of all, how does a system know? I get a something that says put on my phone potential spam. How do they know that? And what does that actually mean? Because I never open them.
And I don't open mine either. And so I think that led to some of the question earlier. And so a lot of times that will be the message is not to you specifically. They have computer programs looking for things like this. So back to, there's some built-in protection, and it catches a lot of it. And so it looks for whether it's sent to you, whether who the sender is, if that sender has been sending other spam messages. And so there's some criteria that it looks for to try to identify it. And then it tries to do some of the work for us. And so we get less than all that's sent to us.
Thank you. The second question I had is actually, it wasn't a scam. It was an irritating thing that IT had done to me.
Yeah.
I've had an account with Chase for years, okay? I went to make a purchase from a legitimate company, and I was talking directly to somebody in the order department. And I gave my credit card, and she came back and said, "I'm sorry, but it was declined." And I said, "That's not I have a very high limit, that and all this." But anyway, she said, "I'm sorry, it was declined. Would you like to give me another card?" And I said, "No, I'll call you back. I'm going to call Chase." Well, I called Chase, and I raised Cain with them.
Yeah.
What's this about? What if I was standing there? I mean, it was embarrassing enough sitting in my office and talking to somebody. But anyway, it turns out that they said, well, it was possible that it could be a bad situation because you hadn't done any business with this organization before. And I said, well, that's not true. 2 years ago, I bought another product from them, but be that as it may, why would a program decide to, out of the blue, to decline something? I mean,
Yeah.
I heard such a thing.
Yes, I have, and I've been affected by that more than 3 times. And it's embarrassing, right? So you're at a store and you're using your card, and they say no. It's actually not as embarrassing anymore than it used to be, because there are programs like that to try to keep you safe. So on the flip side, and the reason why they do this is because there is this type of an attack, but there's also attack where you use your credit card online to pay for something. Well, that card is in a database and it's on a computer. So then you have these bad guys looking around all these computers, trying to break in and get the cards or get the numbers from the credit cards, and then they can take them and they can buy things. So at least 10 times this has happened to our family. And so when they do that, the computer company sees that, they oftentimes let me know or let my family know before I even know that's happened. And so the credit card company will tell me, they will reverse the charge immediately. They will stop. They'll say, they'll put it in purgatory, so to speak. They'll stop it from going through. They'll check with me and say, is this a legitimate charge? I can say yes or no, or oftentimes they block it, or sometimes sometimes it goes through, but then they send me a message later. And then I say, is this fraudulent? And I say yes or no. And so, I mean, I have 3 kids. I have 3 kids and a mother-in-law in the house. So there's some credit cards floating around. The kids are old enough to be taking credit cards and going and buying things. And so I'll get a charge and say, did you buy this? And I have to send a family text message and say, did anyone buy this? And so, I'm like, okay, if I don't get an answer now, I'm going to report it, in the next 10 minutes, I'm going to report it as fraud. So I sound like a scammer, but that's why they do it. They try to protect us. And sometimes them protecting us makes it hard for us, makes it less convenient for us to do what we want to do.
Well, thank you for that, Corey. The thing is, I don't mean you're going on here, but what really bothered me was that they determined that it might be a bad situation with very legitimate company. And I wasn't online. I was talking directly to the company. So that was going in their computer. Is it because maybe they hit their computer before or something?
So at this point, it didn't matter if you were doing it online or if you're talking with a person, because what happened is that that person was using your card number, like if you said, okay, my card number is, you give the card number and then they go and put it in, they're essentially putting it into a computer. And so then whether you put it into the computer or that person you're talking to puts in a computer, it's essentially the same thing. It's just a middle person doing it for you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Yeah. And I've had where cards, the chip reader doesn't work quite right. So oftentimes I have to bring, I carry multiple cards because if it doesn't work, like, oh, so I have to pull out another card, and then you got multiple cards and you're not tracking on one thing. And then it becomes, where did I pay for that? Then it becomes, it's part of life, but it is more, it's not as convenient as having that one card that I think we were accustomed to a few years ago, right? Less controls. Dave, you want to come up and join me and see? Oh, there's other questions. Is ice cream making you not answer questions? Yes.
I will. Well, thank you. And this was to provide some information for you, but also to introduce you to Corey David, as it will be on campus providing some services. We're working on some instructional videos that will be on channel. Sorry, this is not I can't get too close to that because then we're working on that though. So I'm getting up here. Sorry if you can't see me. But we're working on some instructional videos on Show 900 and YouTube to kind of go over the hot topic areas or where we're seeing the most issues with.
Many of us, however, we're connected, can't even get channel 900 or anything.
Well, that is an issue as well. The videos will be on YouTube, so we can, if you have a smartphone or a computer, we can show you how to view them that way.
I mean, we're having a lot of problems on this campus with communications, period.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's probably, we can talk about that. I mean, that's a whole thing there. Yeah, but they'll also be finding some in-person support. So we'll have some time if you want to be shown how to do this specific thing on your iPad, you can bring that and they'll be able to show you that. So look for that in the future for some times.
Yeah, and David's the expert on that one. So he's closer to the technology than I am. I've been so whenever it gets really tricky with devices, I'm always glad to have David by my side. We got one in the back, and then look. No.
This really isn't a cybersecurity question, but the services that you provide, for example, Microsoft is not going to be supporting Outlook 10 or Outlook as of October, I think, of this year. And it keeps reminding me about that, but I don't want to upgrade to 11 because I don't know what 11 looks like. And they always ask me at the wrong time when I'm in the middle of something else. And so are those things that you can help with as well, figuring out when to upgrade or what the consequences are if you don't? Are those things that you can deal with?
Yes. Yeah. But every Tuesday, Microsoft rolls out updates. The reason for updates is we disable. Look, every Tuesday, Microsoft as a company rolls out updates. If you're using your computer on Monday, you don't see that. On Tuesday, you just see something telling you update something. But now, of course, it's business. They're trying to limit what they are supporting. Updates are important, not just even for Outlooks or the applications you use on your phone. It's good practice to leave your application updates on automatic. This is the reason. For instance, WhatsApp or
WhatsApp, the communication.
WhatsApp communication. Yeah. I'm trying to, which application would be like common? Which application?
So what application would you use to communicate with? Like Zoom, Facebook.
For instance, Facebook application on your phone, if they roll out an update and you are late to install it, what you're actually doing is that they are saying something like, we have changed the keys to the doors in this building. You need to update to continue to remain safe. If not, it's possible there is a window that is open and anybody can come to your house through that window. So if you're not updating your application, you are actually vulnerable to any whatever that their technology team have discovered. For instance, in this facility, they can say something like, we've changed all the keys to the locks, please come, or I don't know how to put it, but just to update what you're already using. So it's important. That update moving to Microsoft, to Windows 11 is important because at the point, they will need to cut resources. All the people who have been managing older versions of the operating systems, they will need to move all of that resource to just managing Windows 11. And of course, you know, we've come a long way. There used to be Windows 7, Windows 8. Today, nobody is supporting Windows 7. All right. So it's just progress. And I understand that change can be a little difficult, but Windows 11 has been around for some time and it's pretty good. That's what I use. And yeah, I think you may just find a downtime, say in the night when you're not using your computer, and just click on running that update on your computer.
One of the things that someone may not know is if it doesn't pop up right away, how do they do it when it's not popped up?
We can do that in the practical. Yeah.
I'm wondering, when will you be working and how do we find you?
Oh, we haven't set any dates yet, but those will be coming. So we'll, again, the usual button and pass the living times and 100 and all that.
Yeah. And then we had a question here in the beginning, or in the front.
How safe do you think like Venmo is? Like, do you worry about your bank account more if you have Venmo and use Venmo?
So I would consider it like a tool, like a hammer.
Question.
Oh, sorry. My fault. So how safe is Venmo? And then if you have Venmo, are you less safe? And Venmo is an app that is used to pay people. Was that the general question? So I have Venmo and I have Zelle. Those are two apps, and PayPal that used it to pay the people that ask, instead of writing a check sometimes or a credit card online, it is actually a little bit of a wrapper around the credit card, so someone can't take your credit card and go use it somewhere else. So I like the wrapper around it so they don't know the credit card. So where I was going about the tool, it's a hammer. So if you give it to a carpenter and the carpenter is a master carpenter, they'll build a beautiful house or a beautiful piece of furniture. However, if the hammer is in the wrong hands, then that same hammer can be used to smash a window to break into a house. Very same hammer. So that Venmo is it's just a tool. So oftentimes in a situation like this, they'll ask for payment. And so payment may be a gift card, which is the most undetectable form of payment. Bad people love gift cards. So just be aware. But another item would be like a PayPal or a Venmo, just because it's not, it's very easy to get money and run. So I would use Venmo and just make sure that you're sending it to the people that you send it to. Oftentimes if it's new, they ask for a validation of their last four numbers or something like that. I forget which app that is, but did I answer your question?
One hold back here.
Yeah.
Hi. I have really lots of questions. Oh, lots of questions the people would be interested in, because I'm totally Apple, iPod, iPad, and everything. And like right now, my iPhone gets tons of
these, I don't know, things that aren't from anywhere. So I, put junk and delete, and they keep coming back up on my phone. I would like to know if I have the most security on all my phone and my Mac Air Pro and everything, but I don't feel like I do. I mean, I was printing on my printer, my own personal printer, and it printed on somebody else's printer, and it was printing on mine also.
So that situation, just to let you know about the printer, that happens all the time in our house too. Just because, and what I mean by that is that there are multiple printers, and so that if you're connected, it just means, it's a different situation.
Yeah, no, we're all supposed to be connected.
No, I got it.
And among other things, everybody here has to have Armstrong, as far as I know. But when I lived in my own home, and I think some people here are allowed to have Verizon, maybe. I don't know. But I don't know why I have to have Armstrong. I would like to have some things explained to me.
Well,
I think you can explain.
Yeah. But I think where David is that I think David's point about keeping that software update, I think is important. It's like the bad guys are running and the good guys are running. And so the bad guys try to find holes or open windows into like access into programs. And then the good guys have to go find new keys and shut the windows. But I'll let David elaborate for you.
Well, if you're concerned that you may not have the most recent updates on your devices, it's a good way to kind of be cyber conscious. So what we'll do is that, I don't know, we can just take a look at that and see if you have the recent ones running. But is your printer a wireless printer?
Yes,
Okay.
and everything is updated constantly.
I
It's
understand.
always updated, except in my age.
Okay. I can understand why it will be printing on your own printer and also be printing the same thing. It's just a minor thing. It's something to look at, but if it is connected to the internet, printers before now, I'll just cause you plug to just one device to print, but now they are interacting with networks, and I don't know whether there are other devices connected to that same network. So things like that are bound to happen, but it's good to look at it again and see how it is set up.
Well, I think you're the one that can help me, so I'm going to hunt for you. On the very first day you sign up, I'll be the first in line. Even if you come at 8 o'clock and I would like to get up early.
I'll be glad to do that, man.
I would say we do have to keep in mind they're not the Geek Squad or the Apple Store employee, and there's probably limits to what they're able to do. So
There's limits for me, definitely.
I swear.
I don't know.
These days updates, maybe do some minor fixing on your computer or device, but there's some things that are probably out of their ability to do. So please keep that in mind. Especially even
Hey, David, just move over to right here. There you go.
This isn't a question. I want to make a statement here. If you work with Linda and do a trade out, her son has a beef farm and he's the best hunting in the world.
All right.
Appreciate it.
okay, well, I think we'll go a little bit over time with the presentation, but thank you all for coming. I appreciate it.
Thank you.